Hi everyone, my name is Catherine. I am a law student, and if you don't know me personally, I am currently doing my bar and LLM at Northumbria University, and I graduated with a law degree from University of Liverpool under the UK transfer program at Brickfields Asia College. And I decided to do this video because after my interview with BAC, I've been receiving a lot of questions pertaining to my degree, getting a first class, my scholarships, as well as tips to study. So I thought what not better to do than to answer them all in a Q&A video. So I hope the information that I share or the experiences that I share is helpful and knowledgeable to you. I also want to say that I will be answering questions one by one in different clips, and I will be categorizing them into scholarships, mental health, tips to study, and you can refer them in the bio below. There'll be much more categories than that, so do see what's relevant and watch what's relevant to you. If you want to watch the whole video, that would be amazing because I worked hard on it. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, I'm sorry if the layout has changed because I've changed my filming device, and I hope everything is the same, but if not, I truly apologize and I hope it's okay. But the first question I have is, what advice would you have for first year students or anyone who is interested to do law? Okay, so anyone who's interested to do law, please do embrace the fact that you are going to be doing a lot of reading. Journal articles, statutes. Cases may be 30 pages long where there's a judgment you need to read, and you have hundreds of cases per subject, so make sure you are prepared to do that and that you are prepared to memorize. To first year students, my top advice would be to pace yourself and accept things slowly. I know that it's going to be a huge jump. You're going to feel extremely demotivated or like, why don't I know this? But in your year 3 or your year 4, I believe that you will be able to think like, wow, how come like I thought that was so hard back then, but it's so easy. Yeah, so there's these preliminary things that you do need to go through, like the court system. Secondly is do a glossary if you are doing technical subjects. So when you get into subjects like company law, trust, there may be terms that you don't understand, or like corporate insolvency where there may be business terms or banking terms you don't understand. So write a glossary, write the words down with the meaning next to it. My third but also most important advice is to participate in extracurricular activities. Now, you have the time as a first year in comparison to a third year when you'll be focusing on trying to secure first or a second upper. Go and volunteer. Go and apply for a position in an organization. If you are not aware, KPUM is a leading organization which has talks by legal professionals. They also organize internship programs, and after the bar for CLP students as well, they accommodate all Malaysian law students. So do follow them on Instagram or Facebook. You will be able to get updated on talks that they're having. I found it very beneficial being an executive there. We've planned one of the biggest events of the year, which is the Law Career Convention. I've also moderated events with legal professionals from different areas of the law, and it has really helped me navigate what kind of direction I want to take in my legal career. So do definitely check that out. But there are other opportunities, volunteering opportunities, like Make It Right movement is a CSR under BAC, and I had the most wonderful time working with them on projects with differently abled employees, and it was such a memorable experience. So these are the kind of things you want to get into when you're in your first year, because you have the time to do it. And also, I think the most important thing to do is to go for mooting. Let me tell you how mooting has been such a substantial contribution towards my advocacy part of my law degree. Now, if you don't know what mooting is a competition or an activity where you are in a court setting and you prepare for the case and present them as if you are someone's lawyer. Now you have the opposition, you counsel yourself, you have the judge or several judges, and it's really the closest way or closest you're going to get to a court setting as a student. I have gone up to Jessup, which is a international level competition, but there is lower levels of competition and intermediary competitions that you can participate in. Do check with your institution or university that you're in. Join the mooting society. It's a good way to start off if you are a newbie. And yeah, in relation to enhancing your CV, I think you can do a lot by doing internships. Legal experience definitely counts when you're applying for a job. It's not essential, but it definitely counts. And do venture out to non-legal experiences. I tend to categorize it in three ways. So first, legal experiences like internships. Secondly, non-legal experiences like volunteering for CSR activities, etc. And thirdly is networking. So to be able to be in an organization with a position and to be able to connect with other students, and this may be even related to sports, etc., something you enjoy. So let's move on to the next question, which is what's the best pathway to go to the UK with a training program? So I'm able to explain the training program I was under, which is the UK transfer program in Brickfields Asia College. Now, this program is where you study your first year in Brickfields Asia College in Malaysia, and you were able to opt to go to a UK university in your second and third year, or just your third year. So there's several selections of universities, and I chose University of Liverpool, and I did my third year there. I found this program quite beneficial to me because I was able to build the groundwork in Brickfields Asia College, where the lecturers were extremely dedicated and helpful to students who needed help and seek their help. They were easily contactable. I was able to meet them after class. I was able to ask them questions about subject matters, submit my scripts, and ask where I can improve on. Also was able to participate in extracurricular activities that BAC had held. I was able to get into mooting before I got into the international levels when I went to the UK, and that was really helpful. Most importantly, I found that the exam structures in Brickfields Asia College were very similar to my credit bearing subjects in Liverpool, and I found it a seamless transition between my second year and my third year, and something that I did not struggle with because of the skills and knowledge that I had gained in my first and second year in BSc, and therefore it was very helpful and was able to assist me in getting a first class in Liverpool. Okay, so next question. Hi there, where would you suggest that I do my LLB? Well, I don't regret the pathway that I took, so I would suggest to do a twinning program if you're interested at Brickfields Asia College, and select University of Liverpool for your final year because I truly enjoyed my experience with them, and I didn't have a moment where I thought that I was alone or that I couldn't reach out to anyone, because administration was so easy to reach out to, the teachers were easy to reach out to. In terms of material, there was an abundance of reading and additional materials that they provided on their platform itself, and it was so easy to access, and I think these are really the factors that you should consider before choosing a university. And I also felt that they had a lot of extracurricular activities that I was able to participate in. So I represented Liverpool in the Jessup Global and UK rounds. It is the highest level of mooting competition there is, and I've always wanted to do it since year one, and I finally was able to achieve that dream in Liverpool. And they had a coach as well, which was really helpful. This is important to note. So in the syllabus, they had this thing called single best answer, and I'm going a bit in detail because of students who are interested in applying to Liverpool. They always come to contact me. So these things that they have are very similar to the bar course requirements or examinations. So Coming into Northumbria, I really felt that I was prepared to tell the difference between the single best answer MCQ questions and etc. So another question that I got is, why did you choose to do your LLM bar in Northumbria? I chose Northumbria University because they are quite exclusive with their intake of students. They only select 60 students to do the bar course at their university, and they have fairly high requirements for admission, which is you have to secure a first class honors or a second class upper, and you have to go through a admission interview to be able to be selected at this university to do the bar course. So I feel that I am within peers that have the similar dedication and focus to complete the bar course. So another thing I like about Northumbria that I discovered after joining the course is that their classes are from Monday to Wednesday. So I have a really long weekend, like Thursday to Saturday, and I can like go to London for my in dinings. I can prepare for my classes next week, and I think that schedule is really useful for all the students here. And I've talked with peers and they have the similar schedule as well. So in a bigger school you may have different schedules, and that's something to consider and something that I really like about this. So another thing I like about Northumbria that I discovered after joining the course is that their classes are from Monday to Wednesday. So I have a really long weekend, like Thursday to Saturday, and I can like go to London for my in dinings. I can prepare for my classes next week, and I think that schedule is really useful for all the students here. And I've talked with peers and they have the similar schedule as well. So in a bigger school you may have different schedules, and that's something to consider and something that I really like about this place. Okay, the next question is, may I know which bar school offers 2-2, as I am worried that I might not be able to get a 2-1. So what you mean is bar schools that accept 2-2s. I'm not sure. I did come across a few. I think it was City and BPP. You can check their requirements on their website. Some schools actually accept 2-2s on conditional basis. I'm not sure what exactly that means. Maybe you might have to go through a interview, or they may consider if there was any extenuating circumstances that happened during an examination which led you to get a 2-2. You can check the requirements for admission for each school on their website itself. Okay, next question. What factors do you consider before selecting your university of choice? The first factor for me is student satisfaction. It's how the experience of other students have been in terms of learning, receiving help from teachers, being able to reach out to administration. I think that's really important to be able to have a good experience in university. Second, I balance it with the ranking of the universities. I don't think that I need to go to like the number one university in the country. I think that it just needs to be fairly ranked, and I should be able to excel in that university. Thirdly, I think that the place is an important factor. Where would you want to study? I wanted to study in a city but not a really busy one. I would also consider the modules that are being offered in the university. So to my understanding, there is no requirement to actually do company law to practice corporate, but I think to have a fair and decent amount of options would be really helpful, and especially modules that you are interested in and that will help you in the career pathway that you intend to take. I also think that it's important to consider the examination structure at university. So some may be fully coursework, some may be mostly exams, and you can pick one that is to your strength. And if doing courseworks are not your thing, then don't choose one that's fully coursework. You can choose one that's completely balanced. And Liverpool for me was a balance of coursework and exams, which I really appreciated. The information regarding to these universities can be obtained during the educational fair, or if you're at Brickfields Asia College, they have their own educational fair with their partner universities. You can come and ask the university professors themselves about the modules. So these are things that you should do before selecting a uni. I will be moving on to the next section of this Q&A video, which is scholarship questions. So, is there any scholarship applicable for those who want to study in University of Liverpool? Yes, I will be able to share the scholarships which I received. First one is the top 10 BAC student transfer scholarship to Liverpool. Now, it is so important to note that this scholarship is based on application. If you don't apply, you won't receive it. So it is given to the top 10 students based on year 2 results, and you are supposed to send a short essay on why you deserve the scholarship or something along those lines. The information for the scholarship can be obtained from one of your coordinators or your agent representing University of Liverpool. It is a form which is titled Scholarship Competition, and you will be able to find all the info there. And if I'm not mistaken, the scholarship was about £5,000, which cut the fees down quite substantially. The next scholarship which I received, which is the Vice Chancellor Attainment Scholarship, was based on the fact that you have achieved straight A's. So this scholarship is automatically given to you and there's no application needed. Now, these two scholarships are able to be obtained simultaneously, which is really important. And I'm not sure how much the Vice Chancellor Scholarship was, but you can refer this in the document or on Liverpool's website. Someone had also asked me what I wrote in my essay application. Now, I can't share with you the exact documents. I can tell you that you should include things that you have done, your experiences, your legal experiences, your non-legal experiences, your contribution towards your current university, or any positions that you have that can prove your experience and skills. And I think you should speak about how you would contribute to the university if you were selected for the scholarship, basically proving that you are a worthy investment. And that's as much as I can share. And make sure your essay sounds professional, because you are going to be a legal professional. So next question is, hello beautiful, I just wanted to ask you about the scholarship regarding your bar school. Thank you, so sweet of you. So the bar school scholarship that I have is the Northumbria University Bar School Scholarship. It is a full scholarship to do the bar course LLM in Northumbria University. The information about their scholarship is on their website under the bar course section. Now, I had to go through 2 interviews. The first interview is an admission interview, and the second interview is the scholarship interview. It's a full scholarship that's given to only 5 people, and the applications were fairly early. I think it was between Jan to March. Latest they were accepting was March. So let me just be very frank. Bar school scholarship applications open very early. The Inns of Court also have a pool of funds allocated for scholarships, and these are Middle Temple, Gray's Inn, Lincoln's Inn, Inner Temple. So all the Inns of Court actually have different requirements, and you can work to your strengths. So some of them have interviews at first stage, some of them have interviews only on second stage, and really you can just work what is best for you and have a go. But what I would advise you to do is apply early. The applications open in early, I think, November, but their applications close in December or early Jan. So please keep track of the deadlines. And if you feel like you are not worthy of a scholarship, or if you're not good of a student, just try it. I'm telling you, some people just miss the opportunity because they don't try and they don't believe in themselves. I also do want to share that if you are given a full scholarship for your fees from your institution or university, you can still apply for the Inns of Court scholarship, because they may be able to accommodate for your living expenses, and that would be the scholarship in another way. And I think it's extremely helpful for people who really need assistance on living expenses. So don't waste that opportunity and definitely try it out. So one of the questions are, what questions do I need to prepare for the interview? Scholarships have different questions. I've been through two scholarship interviews. So based on what they've been asking, I think it's quite necessary to for you to be well aware of current world issues, your take on it, your ability to be able to argue on it, especially being a law student. There are also unexpected questions like what's your favorite animal, but you know, those questions kind of actually help you loosen up a bit, and they also want to see your ability to explain, like, why is dolphin your favorite animal, what about the dolphin makes it so special, you know, that kind of thing. So it may be the simplest of questions, but don't underestimate their reason for asking. Answer to your best ability. And to be able to form an opinion of your own, I think it's very important in any scholarship interview, because they want to see you stand your ground and argue for what you advocate for. So just stay confident, stay calm, don't panic. If you hear a question wrongly or you didn't hear them properly because it may be an online interview, ask them to repeat the question. It's no problem at all, they don't mind. Okay, so I am going to move on to the next section of the Q&A video, which is work-life balance and mental health. So the first question I have is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your work-life balance? Wow. Okay, this is a really good question, and thank you for asking, because no one has asked me this. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's between a 6 to 7. So I'm going to say like 6. There were times where it's at 5, because I really did not care about my mental health, and I learned it the hard way. But it is really important to have your mental health in check and to have a work-life balance, because if you're constantly working, you will suffer a burnout at one period of time where you still have things going on and you're not able to give 100%, and that honestly feels the worst. So I do say a 7 now, because I am able to realize that and work on it. So now I do save some days to film vlogs as well as do things that I like. And really, there was a time where I was just, things were just going on and on and on for me, because I'm the kind of person who volunteers for everything and wants to do everything at 100%, but sometimes it's not possible, and it's okay to acknowledge that. Take a break if you need to, get help if you need to. It's really important to have a work-life balance and be okay. So the next question I have is, how hard has it been so far? I'm gonna say that it has been hard. It's not easy to be able to secure scholarships, to be able to do multiple extracurricular activities, have positions in organizations, and get straight A's at the same time, or top student at the same time. It is not easy. But this is my journal. I have a journal every year to organize and plan my classes, interviews, etc. I just have so much going on that if I do not have a journal, I will miss deadlines. So this has been really helpful for me. I'm just going to show you my busiest week. Yeah, perfect, it just came out. So this has been my busiest week. Look at that, like every day I have like 4 to 5 things. And at the end of the week, I was definitely tired. So do take a break. Organize yourself with timetables, reminders, etc. So yeah, essentially it is hard, but I have to say it's definitely rewarding. Okay, moving on to the next question. How did you manage to get a first class degree? Besides the fact that it took a lot of hard work, dedication, and time, I think these are things that are pretty commonly known. But I think that you can do two things. Firstly, is to make sure that you answer the question in front of you. A lot of people get by just vomiting the subject matter out without reading the question or without actually answering what the question is asking you. You can do this by breaking down the question. So highlight 3 segments or 3 to 4 segments of the question and see what they are actually asking you to do. And you should also make sure that there is a flow to your essay. Even though you're answering the question in segments, make sure that it comes together as a picture, as a big picture. Now, the second thing you can do is to make your work stand out. Now, your lecturer is marking like 50 to 100 scripts a day. If you produce something that they have given you in their notes, they're just going to see their own work, or even worse, your friends' work. So, what you should do is make your own notes, build on your content, and be confident with what you have to say. Include your own opinions if they ask you for it or if you're allowed to do it, and also include academic criticisms and opinions to show that you are well read about the subject or the cases that are in front of you or that's being asked about. Also, try to include current situations that are happening, like COVID, world changes that are happening, anything that you find that is relevant. Don't simply include it because you think that it might make it special. It may not be relevant, and that's okay. Don't put it down if it's not relevant. Make sure it's something that will help your essay stand out. Okay, so next question is study tips and how do I enhance my CV. So in terms of study tips, I do have a few additional ones, which are to address the subject matter as soon as it is addressed in class. Do your notes immediately after so it's fresh in your mind. Also, see the past year examples. Example answers, please do not depend on example answers entirely. They will not get you an A. You are supposed to build on them or build on your own answers. You think for an exam electronically, you're going to go through plagiarism, so please do your own answers, but only see example answers as a guideline. Okay, in terms of studying now, so I've got a few questions. Firstly is, how do you structure your essay? So obviously you have to have an introduction, and then you have your body and your conclusion. So your body can be separated in two if it's an essay. It can be arguments against, arguments for. Your body can also contain, just before your conclusion, your own opinions, jurisdictional conflicts, and academic opinion throughout. Your essay as well will be useful. If you have problem starting your essay, do the middle bits first, the actual content, because the law is right in front of you. So you might find it easier to do the content and then do the introduction. In your introduction, tell your examiner what is the direction you're taking and what issues you are dealing with. In your conclusion, if it is a problem question, state what consequences your claimant is going to suffer or which direction you think the case is going to go into. Those are the types of conclusions that you can have in a problem question. If it's an essay, conclude what you feel about the subject, about the law that's being addressed. Put your own opinion into it if you're allowed to. I think that would allow you to score a lot of brownie points. Also, I want to say that including foreign jurisdictions, where the law is, for example, overseas, may be different. It may support the law that you are trying to advocate. Those kind of points really make your essay different from other people. So these are facts that you want to consider putting down. Structuring your essay, just creating a draft on your own way is really important so that you can see the big picture and write an essay that is relevant to the question. So I would think that it is also helpful to break down your question maybe in 3 or 4 parts and put them down, put the headings down in a paper and list what you're going to say under each part. But also bring together that part as a big picture, because otherwise you would just be answering elements of it but not the question in a whole. Secondly, how do you answer quote related questions? Example, Lord Denning quote. I always skip it. Like, I'm being honest with you. There are some questions in a paper that's going to be extremely difficult. Some questions you're just going to give it a skip. But if you do want to do it, I would suggest to do a lot of reading on essential cases, because that's where they extract the statement from, like the judge's statement, which is in the judgments. I think that breaking down the statement would also be essential because you are able to understand it properly. And you need to answer if you agree or not with the statement. So you could have arguments against the statement, and it's fine. It shows variety and it shows that you are able to understand the subject content. Also, do show constant reference to the statement that's involved in the question, because otherwise the examiners will think that you're just rattling on a subject or a case without referring to the judgment or sentence that they are referring to. So you can do this quite easily by referring to it in the middle of your essay or at the end of each paragraph, so the examiner knows that you are answering the question. Next, how do you take notes and focus during online lectures? So when you're having online lectures, I presume that the lecturer has slides on. When a lecturer has slides on, you just take down what they are saying or what's important in these slides. And I tend to write like mind maps or just like a circle and like branch out my points, because I don't need to write what's on the slide. The slide is being given to you. Unless it's not, then write everything on the slide. But I think what's more important is what your lecturer says while he's presenting the slides, because those things are not there, and what he says might be quite important in terms of what to concentrate on the exams and important things to take note of, like essential reading, etc. In class, I used to take down everything because the lecturer writes on a board, and they have their own charts and things like that, and it'll be helpful for me to develop on their notes. So I write down everything, including what they say. Rewatch your lectures. I think it's definitely helpful in terms of memory, and which brings me to the next question. Any helpful tips to remember case law? No. What I do is I say them out loud. So I say them out loud like 10 to 20 times, and eventually it gets in my head. Other than that, I write them down a lot. So I write it multiple times with the principal, but I don't do it like on a paper like a primary school kid, I'm sorry teacher, I'm sorry teacher. No, not like that. When you're doing questions, you tend to write down the case name a lot. So there is a way of getting by with case names, especially when they're extremely long and they're a well-known case. Sometimes you're allowed to just put the first name of the case, and this is something you need to check with your professors if they're okay with it, but it is commonly accepted. Next question is, do you have any tips to write a 3/4 essay under 3 hours? I find it hard. Case names, you can summarize it when you've mentioned the full citation. That helps a lot with the writing. Definitely categorize your topics as to topics that you are more comfortable with and topics that you wouldn't touch or would rather not touch. So don't narrow down too much on what you're gonna study, because that will put you in an extremely risky position. So these are some of the things that you can do. You have to practice your essays, because that helps a lot in the flow that you want to approach on. And I tend to write a draft before I go on to my essay. I write the points that I want to address, and I keep it by the side of me on that rough paper that the examiner gives you, and then I follow the draft when I start writing my exams. Now, you are given reading time in a law exam, so do make use of that reading time for that purpose. And also don't write too many points. Sometimes you may have less points, but you can elaborate more on them, and that may be of more quality than someone who elaborates on 10 points but does not have content. So yeah, that is my tip to help finish essays faster. And frankly, I think that you really have to learn how to write fast. Like, I have, like, in my first 2 years when I was doing physical exams, I was like speed. Like, sometimes I couldn't even like read what I was saying, but like had to make sure that the lecturer could read what I was saying. And do underline your cases. Don't forget that. It makes it easier for the lecturer to see what you're mentioning and see what is relevant that is on your paper. Okay, this question says, hey girl, how did your journey start from getting scholarships to accommodation? I'm going to be very honest with you. it was very time consuming and very stressful. I can say that applying for accommodation is more stressful than applying for a scholarship. So, just because maybe because I'm a bit particular about accommodations that I want to stay in, and frankly, it's a hard search, especially if you're doing accommodation search in London. Please note that it's really difficult and you need to do it fast. So contact your agent, or if you are planning to go to smaller places like Newcastle or Liverpool, you can go and search for accommodation agencies. They provide accommodation specifically for students, so you can get into that as well on their websites. um, Frankly, I'm so happy with my accommodation here. I just want to say that. I don't know if I'm disclosing the place name, but this accommodation is so wonderful because it's right next to my law school in Northumbria University, and it's so convenient. I really love this place. I have my own place. It's a studio, so I have my own kitchen and my bed and the hall. But if you are asking about accommodations in Liverpool, which I did see a question about, yeah, someone asked any recommendations for accommodations in Liverpool. Well, while I was searching, I came across Maple House. I was going to decide to book it, but unfortunately I wasn't able to go because of the pandemic. But I think that's a fairly decent place to get an accommodation because it's about a 5 to 10 minute walk to the law campus. And if you're looking for a shorter one, there's Chatham House, which my friends lived in, and it was right in front of the law. Those are the two that I know of. I do want to note that I don't have any experiences in these accommodations, so you may want to check them out yourselves and ask someone who has been there. Okay, guys, that's all the questions I've been asked, and if you have further questions, I can do a second video and answer them. But I hope this session has been extremely helpful to you. But again, it's just me sharing my knowledge and experience as a student, and I hope that you have the best journey wherever you are in your legal education, and I wish you all the best. So do keep in touch and do share this video to your peers who need help or advice. So thank you for watching, everyone, and thank you to whoever submitted your questions. I've had an extremely lovely time answering them. So bye for now. Thank you for watching.